how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. I did a full face of forgotten favorites. I just took my products that I used to love, my very first favorites, and I created this look. So if you want to see me create this and hear my thoughts on my old favorites, then just keep watching. So I have a plethora of products in front of me right now. Most of all of my first favorites are in front of me. There are a couple things that I just don't own, but most of it's here. I guess we need to prime the face first. My very first favorite primer ever because of Jaclyn Hill. Most of these are because of Jaclyn Hill. This is the Step 1 Skin Equalizer Smoothing Primer from Makeup Forever. I have not used this in a very long time, probably close to a year it's been since I've used this. When I buy primers nowadays, what I look for is more of luminosity, hydration, glow. I'm not really looking for things to smooth my pores because I don't really have a huge issue with texture. For foundation, my very first favorite foundation is the Too Faced Born This Way. I still really enjoy this foundation. I don't use it all the time like I used to, but I do enjoy it. I don't even know what made me buy this. I think it was just an ad somewhere about this new Born This Way foundation coming out. I really thought I needed it back then, and I'm pretty glad that I got it because I loved it. This is in the shade Snow for those of you who care. I believe the only things I don't have that were original favorites are my concealer and setting powder. My original favorites were the Urban Decay Naked Weightless Concealer. No longer have that. I haven't had that in a while ever since I discovered other things. Instead, I'll just be using my Colourpop No Filter, and instead of my Laura Mercier setting powder, which was my favorite forever, I'm just going to be using the RCMA No Color powder, although it's still in a Laura Mercier container because that container is better than the RCMA one. Actually, before I set my face with the RCMA powder, I used to always set my under eyes with the highlight shades in the Kat Von D palette. I still like those shades, I just don't always go out of my way to open up a palette just for that. I'm just mixing those two shades together. I'm just gonna set my under eyes and the highlight points of my face, like my nose and my chin. I think I stopped using these shades because I honestly go through those shades really fast. Ignore my bloodshot eye, my contact just attacked me. I'm just gonna dust a little light layer of that RCMA powder over the rest of my face. Let's move on to the eyes. So my first initial thought when I was thinking of my first favorite eyeshadow palettes are the Urban Decay Electric palette, but I also thought of my Makeup Geek single eyeshadows. So I figured I might dip into some of the Makeup Geek ones for some transition shades and then just play with some of these bright pops of color. I'm just gonna prime my eyes with some concealer. So I'm gonna dip into Peach Smoothie from Makeup Geek as my transition shade, and I think that's the only Makeup Geek shadow I'm gonna dip into. I used to use Peach Smoothie all the time, and it's still a really good transition color. Just don't dip into it as often anymore. I'm gonna take Freak from the Electric palette. Yes, it's broken, I know. And I'm just gonna kind of focus this on the outer half of my lid. I haven't used this palette in a very, very long time. I technically decluttered it in my eyeshadow declutter video, but I'm holding on to it for sentimental reasons. I am just kind of taking this brush into the crease a little bit just to blend it out. I know a lot of people don't like shimmers in the crease, but I don't care. I like what's cute, and this is cute to me. I'm gonna take Fringe right here, just a very, very tiny bit because I just feel like we need a little bit of depth right out here. And then again, just taking a little bit more of Freak, packing that on just a little bit. Next, I'm just gonna take Thrash, that bright yellow, and I want this to be on the remainder of my lid. I'm just gonna kind of tap this over what we did just so it has a nice gradient. I just do not love this palette anymore, guys. It's not my favorite. I'm not hating this look though. It's very simple. It's not the most pigmented thing in the world, but it is looking similar to how I wanted it in my brain, and it goes with my shirt, so we're gonna roll with that. For my lower lash line, I'm gonna take a little bit of Slow Burn, that bright orange. Taking any angled brush, I'm just gonna lightly place this, more focused on this outer half. Just taking that brush that we used, that yellow, and I'm just gonna lightly, with no product, just kind of smudge this out a little bit. Next, I'm just gonna take Revolt, that bright silver, and I'm gonna use a fairly giant brush for this just to kind of sporadically pack that right in the center. Well, that looks horrendous. That's not gonna work, but we gotta even it out at least. So back into Makeup Geek, I'm gonna take Shimma with a much smaller brush because my plan failed, and I'm just gonna highlight this inner corner area. Much better. I used to use that silver as an inner corner highlight all the time, And now it doesn't look good. I mean, it might not have looked good back then either, but I sure must have thought it did. For liner, I wasn't even gonna do a wing, but I feel like this look needs a wing. My favorite of all time for years was the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper. I actually have 3 of them. I think they're all almost gone, so it's gonna be switching between these 3 to make a wing out of it. I switched over to my Stila one, you guys know that, just because I find that one to be a lot more black than this one, and this one is not waterproof and my eyes get watery, and it'll kind of disintegrate this outside corner. There's barely anything in this. Yeah, this one's definitely dead. These are the best I can do. That's what they're gonna look like. For mascara, my first favorite, even though I've never bought a full size, I've only ever had the little mini sizes, is the Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. But I do still really enjoy this mascara. I feel like it makes my lashes look really separated and fluffy and not spidery and voluminous. But at the same time, my lashes are kind of trash, so nothing really ever makes them look good. This eye look is kind of cute, actually. Something about these wings, though, I'm not feeling it. I need to not try to make these wings look better or else it's gonna get really bad. Yep, here I go, messing things up. Thank you very much. So for lashes, I didn't really have a first favorite that I know of, but I remember really liking the Pixie Luxe lashes from House of Lashes, so that's what I'm gonna pop on. Lashes are on, so let's move on. I don't really have a first favorite bronzer. I didn't really get into bronzer until I discovered the Bali Sands one from Becca, really. But I did used to, and still do, love and cherish the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, so I'm just gonna bronze with the more warm tone shade in the middle. For blush, I didn't love blush at first for the longest time. The first one I used to dip into continuously is the Blushed Copper blush from the Champagne Glow palette with Becca and Jaclyn Hill. So I'm just gonna lightly dip into that. And of course, my favorite highlight originally was Champagne Pop. I'm gonna try to wear it by itself. If it's too dark for me, because I feel like Champagne Pop is too dark for me now, I'm just gonna pop Pearl on top. I used to live and breathe for this highlight. It might not be too dark for me, actually. Now that it's on the face, it actually looks fine. My first favorite setting spray that I no longer own was MAC Fix Plus, but I do have the Urban Decay All Nighter, which was probably my second favorite, so I'm just gonna go ahead with that. So my first favorite lipstick to my knowledge, because I wasn't a huge lipstick fan and I didn't have a die-hard favorite lipstick, when I first made my very first Jeffree Star Cosmetics purchase, I had Celebrity Skin in that order and I wore this so often, so this is what I'm gonna just assume was my first favorite, because I can't really think of what my first favorite was. So this is the full completed look. Hope you like it. I had fun doing this video. It kind of got me to try some products that I haven't used in a really long time. And I'm really happy with this look. I think I look presentable for my day. There's nothing about my look that I'm unexcited about. I'm worried about the liner just in case my eyes get watery today, because that's not gonna last. But the rest of my look is really cute, so I'm good with it. If you liked this style video, please give it a thumbs up so I know to make more in the future. I might do like a full face of the makeup that I've used the least out of all of my collection, and then maybe the most. There are so many things we could do with this little series if I continue to do it. So let me know if you want to see it. If you're not already, please hop over to Instagram. It's beautybybettyjean. Follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe here before you leave. I post every 2 to 3 days. Let me know what videos you want to see on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye. Peach Smoothie from Makeup Geek as the Who is blaring music right out my window? I like Michael Jackson as much as the next guy, but I don't want it playing outside my window right now. So my first favorite setting spray that I no longer own was Max